there's something else I want to say. I forget. Newton. Hi. He's like, Estelle, he's so cute. Are you coming? Oh, oh. There he is. Hello, this is MJ and welcome to vlog number 2 of 2018. This time I would like to give you a little bit of introduction on my art project for the year. So this year the art project is to create as many artwork as I can around the topic manifesting love, and that's going to be built on top of, at least that's the plan for now, it's going to be built on top of my clouds project. So how did it all started? I think it started with this painting that I did. So let me see if you can see this one. So I started to do, like, those are these random things that come to my mind. So I started to do this painting relatively at the beginning. So after doing the 100 clouds and started to play around, I had like this canvas just hanging around, and I had this idea that, yeah, that's the first time I created like one of the thought leaders, where I just had this idea of creating a cloud coming out of like a body or suit and stuff like that with the yellow strings around, and it kind of sat there for most of the year. So I think it was probably like in the early summer, late spring that I started it, and in at the end of the year, like, it was just sitting there. Like, I wanted to finish it, but I didn't know what to do to finish it. And the idea came about later on to just put a heart in it. It was at the end of the year. And then I had this, I wanted to write, like, it still wasn't finished. And then I had this idea to write, you'll never find peace of mind until you listen to your heart. This is, I think, a lyric from George Michael. Also, at the time, I was listening to a book called The Kabbalion. So I'm very much so into spirituality. That's Newton is like right there. Personal development, mindset, mindfulness, and things like this. So I was reading The Kabbalion, and I was like mind blown with that book and what they were saying. I think that's after reading that book that I came up with writing those lyrics on top, and also wrote stuff that I thought was really cool. It's just, you know, artist thing. So if you see here, there's like there's some wording, and it says, all is mind, the universe is mental, brain, mind, heart, mind, gut, mind. Yeah, I heard about these things. Like, the body has 3 minds: a brain mind, a gut mind, and a heart mind. Is it heart mind? Yeah, heart mind. So all work independently and together. Anyways, that's going into a whole other subject that I won't get into. But anyways, so as I was going through the year and starting to, towards the end of the year, trying to figure out what's my next thing. Time to pause. My dog needs me. I'll be back. Okay, so as I was trying to say before, I've been learning a lot about horoscope, especially about my sign, because, you know, you get to learn more about yourself this way. So I'm a Libra, and I was listening, as I was listening more and more to what they have to say about Libras. I remember this one time, this like, it's horoscope and tarot at the same time, whatever I could find on the internet. It's really just about me discovering, you know, a little bit more about myself through my art. It's kind of like an impulse that I've been having, especially a lot last year. Maybe I've always done it. I'm rambling again. Okay, so this lady called Empress of Wands. She was saying, so as she was reading the cards for the time, and she was talking about purpose. And the thing is, with these things, you kind of have to pick whatever makes sense to you, whatever resonate. And she said something about the purpose. You're like, something about our purpose. And she said, like, guys, your purpose in life is love. And as soon as she said that, it kind of like jerked something in me, and I was like, holy shit, like, that's it. That's my purpose. And excuse my language. Sometimes I'm going to swear a little bit because that's just the way it is. So anyways, it really, like, it I don't know how to say it. It did something. It kind of like it woke up something in me saying, duh, of course that's your purpose. And the more I read into it, I'm like, oh yes, Libra, we're all about love. Like romantic, the whole idea of being romantic and like the love stories and the love song. And it kind of like brings back a lot of the things that I used to be more into when I was younger, that I kind of like, I don't know, for some reason it kind of like went away, I went dormant. So she basically helped reawaken that, and that's how I was like, okay, I need to explore that a little bit more, because that's a part of me that I've been ignoring in a sense. And also, like, then it brings a bunch of different things. Like I remember going to an event, Time Raiser, in Toronto. It's like an art auction type of event. It was like their party for the year or something like that. And they had like this little installation where people would take their picture, like somebody would take a picture of people, and then before they take your picture, they ask you to write the answer to what the world needs, what does the world need more of? And the thing that came to mind is the world needs more love. And it's kind of like these things that's these little insights of input that kept coming on for me. And that's how basically like the heart was added to this artwork, and it made more sense to me. And then that's how the whole, me and talking to friends and stuff like that, it's like, okay, that's my topic for the year. The year is manifesting more love. So that's essentially how the topic came about. The only thing is I had no, like, how do I represent that? I have no idea. How do I paint love? But the purpose of it is to spread more love. So I know I know there's a purpose for it. I just didn't know how to represent it. But I'm like, let me just go with it and see what happens. That's what I've been doing. So one of the first things that I did, well, like I said before, the really cool coincidence for me, because I had somewhat decided to limit my palette and use the Benjamin Moore color of the year last year. I'm like, let me see if I should I do that again this year. And when I looked and saw that their color of the year was like this bright red, I'm like, it's perfect, because that's my topic. It's like the color of my topic. So that's what I'm doing against this year. So to get into the mood of it and kind of get my, my mind going, doing it, I used an old sketchbook and I painted the cover of it. And I decided to create an art journal to kind of put ideas together. I mean, this sketchbook already had some painting and some sketches and some ideas for clouds. I'm probably going to do like a camera over this thing, but then I kind of like repurposed it, because I didn't use a lot of page in it, to be able to start just writing some ideas. Like I had drawn this thing, I painted this thing, and then I painted that. And then as I was thinking about the whole manifesting love, you kind of write different ideas. So this is basically my book for writing ideas down, whatever comes to mind with respect to manifesting love. So when the year started, I decided, okay, like January 1st, to make sure that I actually do it and not trying to find an excuse not to do it, I'm going to start. So I wrote down, I drew some ideas, like the pages are not in order. There's a couple old things, but let me see if I have, I'm not wearing my glasses, so if you see me squinting, it's because I don't have my glasses with me. Yeah, is that the first one? Oh, let me see. Yeah, I think that's the first one, kind of. So I basically wrote some ideas. I'm probably going to pass over it, and I actually drew a little something. So I'm like, okay, well, let me paint the clouds, because I know the clouds, and maybe I can paint a heart in it and see what happens. And some ideas that I had for the clouds, I can do it for the heart. So I painted this one. So it's a heart with barbed wires on it. And then I painted this one. It's a heart, but this time with wings. And this is based on a sculpture that I had seen online earlier the year. I was so compelled by it that I saved it. And then when I was doing the manifesting love, I'm like, oh, I could do that. So I did these two. And then I also continued and did these two. So this guy and this lady. Oops, this lady. So I'm probably going to talk about them specifically on another vlog because I don't want this vlog to get too long. But yeah, that's basically what it is. So I'll probably go over what I've done here so far. So this little book, this little sketchbook is really to write ideas. Whenever I have an idea as I'm doing something else, because I'm the type of person that gets a lot of ideas, like a lot. My friends know me for, like, if you need, you know, a brainstorming session to be able to figure something out, call me up, because I'm going to help you, and you're going to have like too much ideas. You won't even know what to do with it. That's one of my gifts, I guess. Anyways, rambling again. So I drew a bunch of different things like this. See, this is where the idea of like the clouds and the hearts around came about. Yeah, and some of the previous ones as well. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's going to be a little too long. But, you know, like, it's good for me to kind of figure out, like, what does it mean to manifest love? Like, this is kind of like a sketch that I started. It's not completely finished. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go. We shall see. Recently, was it yesterday? Yesterday. And sometimes I write my thoughts. I wouldn't say frustration. Whoops, what is this guy doing? Are you okay? I have to make sure that the mic doesn't get my braids. It's going to make some weird noise. Yeah, I write thoughts, any insight, anything that I learn. And so I had this other idea. This came about yesterday. So my art is also influenced by what's going on, obviously, in the world, the World Wide Web. You know, like whenever something's happening, you know, your social media gets flooded with the same subject all the time. So obviously that's going to influence my art, and I'm realizing that more and more. So before yesterday, like a couple weeks ago, I had this idea. Maybe I'll do like a pan over a close-up. I had this idea, another idea, because I'm trying to think about or receive ideas of what to represent, what to create that represent manifesting love. And I had this idea of like a light and a heart in the middle, and it's dark around, kind of like a spotlight. That's it. That's all I had, and that's all that is. Love from above, love UFO. I don't know, random stuff that I write. And then yesterday, as I woke up, I think I had a song. No, I didn't have a song in my mind. I woke up and I had a quote, a portion of the Martin Luther King quote of like, only light, darkness does not drive out darkness, only light does. And like that sentence was in my mind, like on repeat, essentially. And then as it was on my mind on repeat, the image of the sketch that I had done of the light from above came to my mind. I'm like, oh, that's what I can do. So I made a sketch of like the idea that came to my mind for that. So that's basically how I work. So in my book, I went and got the exact quote, and then on the side, I actually drew the idea for what most likely my next painting is going to be. And I have a couple extra, well, you won't be able to see it. Maybe I'll do a pan, maybe you'll see it later. So I have a couple extra ideas that goes around that. So out of one random idea that started from before, gave the idea of creating that specific painting. Well, specific, it never looks exactly the same, but the idea is there. And then out of that, I'm thinking about a series just around this one as well. So this is essentially, don't walk on my painting. This is essentially how I've been proceeding so far to be able to create a series. So I don't know, maybe that'll help somebody who's trying to figure out how to create a series of painting. Sorry, I'm looking because my dog is like kind of walking around. Sometimes it looks for trouble. So yeah, so this is essentially how I come up with ideas and keep it flowing as much as possible. So I think having an art journal where you actually write your ideas, where you write your thought, any like insight, and I'm probably going to start adding pictures maybe as well, whatever. Like it could be, it depends on your process. It could be pictures, it could be paint sample. Sometimes when I have extra paint or I just don't know what to do but I want to be creative, I'll just paint like colors like this on a page and just leave it like that. And then later on, when I don't feel like painting but I have a pencil, then I'll do, see that was another page that I painted before, and then later on, a couple weeks later, I start to draw this. I don't know where this is going to lead to, we shall see. So that's essentially how I do this so far. I'm not saying it's the method, it's just what I do. There's something else I want to say, I forget. Newton. Hi. He's biking Estelle, he's so cute. Are you coming? Oh, there he is. Okay, he's hungry. Oh yes, wow, sometimes I have to deal with that. Okay, puppy, 2 seconds. That's Newton saying that he wants to eat, and he thinks I'm done with the, it's time for me to cut. That's him saying cut. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I started a Kickstarter again. Like there's this thing says, it reminds me of a quote from Elias saying, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again. So I did a Kickstarter last year for my 100 clouds. It didn't work out, but I still did the clouds anyways. And then afterwards I came up with the idea of doing oracle cards with the clouds, and so I started a Kickstarter with that. The cool thing is it's fully funded. It wasn't a lot. I really just wanted to do it. I just wanted to participate and do the cards. I'm doing the cards anyways because this is the project that I have for myself. But anyways, if you are interested, I am going to put the link. Okay, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Newton, come on. Can I just finish? I just want to finish something. Let me just finish this one thing, okay? I will put the link in the description below. And yeah, if you've gone that far, thank you for watching. I really have to go because my dog is getting very impatient. And I'll see you hopefully next week. All right, bye.